Okay, sebelum kita start kelas kita, so minta siapa-siapa respon lah. Nampak ke skrin saya? Dengar ke suara saya?
Nampak sir.
Saya dengar.
Okay, thank you pada yang respon. So as usual, before we start our ni, so our punya kelas, so normally we will refer back to our lesson plan lah. So basically we are on cover this one, chapter 4. So basically this chapter 4 basically must have 2 weeks. Basically we need to learn about this chapter. So basically we already cover all the topic, all the chapter this one, but we need to have some exercise lah. Okay, we have much more exercise and also example. So hopefully today we have around maybe 2 exercise so we can do this one on the chapter of pairing, this one. Okay, so don't forget about to have your list of formula. So please make sure you have all this. Okay, all this list of formula. So make sure you are familiar with what type of formula that you will apply. Okay, I always repeat this one. So we focus on this type of the formula. So let's say, so the value of they have no value of f, so you can apply the value here. Okay, they will apply this one. So the v value of v here basically based on the question given to you. Either they ask about inner ring rotation or other the 1.2 is outer ring rotation. So this about the L10. So you have to learn about the other revolution or maybe about the hours. So just must to know A is basically either ball bearing or the and call as a roller bearing. So normally on bearing we have 2 types, either the ball or the roller. Okay, this one. So this formula basically we will apply if they have give a new condition. Okay, new condition or new lifetime that we need to predict how much the load we can have need to adjust. Okay, apa ni kita akan ada example nanti kita akan tengok this one. So this one for L15 and L5, that means almost 90% success. So we will apply on this type of formula. So how we can get the value of KR? So KR normally we can see how much they are prefer. Okay, let's say 5%. Okay, how much they prefer this one? Let's say they prefer for 94% reliability, so we can apply as let's say 0.71. Okay, the value of 0.7. So CP ni bagian atas lah. Normally C here basically we can get from the table either 3.1. So based on the either their ball bearing ke roller bearing ke kita akan refer to. So BP ni this one we refer to this formula. Okay, let's say they give you the value of FR and also FA, but okay, you need to find the value of X and Y. So either you can get direct from the formula, either you cannot get. So you need to have some interpolation to get the value of X and also the Y here, value here. So KS we can get from the table also. Okay. So KS normally we can get start from this table KS based on the what condition that I give to you. And normally constant or steady load we can apply is 1.0 if ball bearing, and then if roller bearing we can apply as 1.0. So based on their condition load they are given to the question. Okay, bahagian sini je saya naikkan sikit. Okay, normally when we need to find the value of C tu, so normally we start on the table 3.1 here. So normally either they have start with ball bearing or give a question about cylindrical bearing. So please remember here, so you have the 2 types. So for the ball bearing, this one deep groove, another one is angular of contact. So always remember this one in terms of the load we call as a kilonewton here. So we will apply the value of C when they give the value of ball here, the diameter of ball. Okay, so either let's say they give a 40 here, and then you need to find the value of C. Let's say they give to you deep groove, so you focus on this section, find the value of the C. Okay, you need to apply the value of the C for this. Okay, bahagian sini lah bahagian for the apply this formula. So there's a basic step that how you need to understand for the every table or the every formula that involved in this chapter bearing. Okay, so always remember they have 2 types of cylindrical they have 2 types of ball bearing, the ball or the cylindrical. So this one table 3.1 and table 3.2. So and then we need to find the value of x or the y here, but we based on this condition. Okay, we need to find the value of fa over vfr. We need to condition. So we have the value of e there, then we need to compare lah. Okay, the value of e tu, dia less than e ataupun tidak. Nanti kita akan tengok. Okay. Okay, so this bearing node. Okay, ni saya dah explain lah bagian ni. So tak perlu hafal formula, just refer to the formula. Just you make sure that you know how to apply that formula when they're given to you the question. Okay, so we do some exercise here. Let's say we do for exercise 1. We start with a simple one first. So exercise 1, number 1 here, they're given to you, find the rating life. Okay, and find the rating life for this one in term of hours. Okay. Okay, find the rating life in term of hours. Then they'll give you the value of bore, this one, with the determination of this one deep growth. Okay, deep growth, they have a table there. We need to find the value of C here on the deep growth based on the diameter they're given to you, 40 mm. So this one basically we can go for the table, I think it's table 3.1. This one we call as the ball bearing here. Please make sure you read careful this one. So they have the some you need to highlight. Okay, this one. So you need to find the value of the rating life in terms of hours. So they give the value here, 40 mm ball, deep growth, ball bearing. So focus on the table for the ball bearing, for the then section on the deep growth, and also go for the 40 mm. So they give the value of the FR here. Okay, 3,500 here, and then they ask you say the FA is equal to 0 lah, because this one is neglect. Okay, then they also mention they have give you value of N here in terms of 800, this one 800 RPM. Okay, 800 RPM. Then they also mention here, so the inner ring rotates, so this mean of the value of V. Okay, and then this constant load, the value of Ks. So how much this one? You can refer to the your table, this one. Let's say they mention here the value of the inner rotate. Okay, inner rotate. This one we get the value as of V equal to 1.0. Okay, the value of V there, they mentioned because of the inner rotate, so you can apply V as a 1.0. Okay, this one. Sorry. Then they have also mentioned there, this one is have a constant load. So constant load condition, you can go for the table to determine the value of the Ks. So the condition here, value of this one, Ks, the value of Ks here. So they have mentioned about the value of the ball bearing here. Okay, they mention on the question on the ball bearing. So you focus only on the ball bearing punya ni. Then they mention here constant load. So here we select the Ks is equal to 1. Okay, this one, please read the question carefully, this one. Then the question number 2, they ask you to find the 95% reliability. This one. Okay, kita akan tengok reliability. We focus on this one, 95%. When is left? Okay, ni 5% lah. Okay, tengok. Okay, ini clear. Kita buat satu tengok lah jalan kerja dia macam mana. Okay, kita start ni. Okay, because they ask you to find the value of the punya rating life tu in term of the hours. Tengok in term of hours. So kita tengok formula in term of hours. Okay, this one formula in term of hours. Okay, so formula in term of hours. So don't forget about this one. They have the A here. So that's mean of the ball bearing are also the roller bearing. So in our condition, we apply as the ball bearing. So normally we can get the value of C here from table, and then the value of P ni from the formula up here. Okay, this one formula, because they already given to you that F is equal to 0, this one, so we can directly apply this formula lah. KS we know, V also we know, FR also we know. So we can easily get the value of P, then we can put under this formula. C you know from the table 3.1 for the table ball bearing section deep groove for the diameter 40 mm. Then we can get the value of P, C also you know. Then we know the A is here is 3. Then the value is N is your RPM. And then we can get the value of R10. Okay. Okay, this one. So we apply this formula. So because we want to apply as the in term of the hours. Okay. Okay, into hours. So when I mentioned before, when we said about the inner rotate, we apply V is equal to 1. Okay, always remember this one. You don't need to remember, just apply. You have on your list of formula, just read careful. Okay, they have a constant load also, they mentioned in the question. That means KS is equal to 1. So this one you can go for the table 3.5. How you want to know this one? Okay, type of load constant. So we apply a ball bearing here. So our punya ni, this one is 1.0. Okay, this one KS. Then they are mentioned axial load is equal to 0. Okay, this one axial load equal to 0. And then we can go to find the value. Okay, value of C here. Value of C here based on the table 3.1, because they already mentioned the diameter bore here is 40 mm here. So they mentioned 40 mm. Can go for the section for the ball bearing for the 3.1 table. Please remember this one on the ball bearing. Okay, on the ball bearing, and then they mention about deep groove. Okay, when we go for the question, they mention about the deep groove. This one, deep groove. So deep groove, you go and then they have ball bearing. Go section ball bearing. Go for the table ball bearing. Then for the section deep groove, this one. Okay, then go for the 40 mm punya bore. Okay, we go for the 40 mm punya bore, this one, table 3.1. We go for this one, okay. We go, then we need to find the value. Focus on this section only, okay. This section under 40. For the 40 here, so this area, so we can get the value of 30.7, and then dia punya CS is 16.6. So basically here we just apply the value of the C only. So we can select the value of this one 30.7. Don't forget about this one, we call as the kilonewton. So this one we call as the load. They mention basic load. We can call this one as a basic load. Basic load rating. This one don't kilonewton. This one we select. So why we can select 40 mm? Because they already mentioned on the question the diameter is 40 mm. So we just select the based on the table. So we go for the deep groove and also the bearing, ball bearing, this one. Okay. So we get the value of C here, okay, from the table, and then the value of RPM they already mentioned to you, N equal to 800. So we start to find the value of P first, okay. Why we select of this one, P equal to KS VFR? Because the formula, the question already mentioned, they have no value of the axial load. Okay, this one, okay. They already mentioned pada you, neglect lah this one, value of the axial load FA. So if you refer to the formula, so if we have we have no FA, so we can directly apply this formula. Okay, this formula. P equal to KS VFR. This type of formula. Okay, this one. Can start to find the value of KS or VFR, you know. So V you know from because of the inner rotate, KS also from the constant load condition from the table 3.5 here. And then we can go for the value of P, we get the value of 3,500. Okay, thank you kepada yang datang kelas semua. Okay, so we mentioned this one, we already get the value of P here in terms of KS VFR. So you know the value of where you get the value of KS, V also you know, FR they already given to you. This called as the radial load. Okay, this one radial load. Then they ask you to find the value of the L10 in term of hours. So you can apply this formula. Okay, for this formula, you know this A value is basically for ball. So ball is basically is 3. So where you get this one, can go for this one first. Okay, this one. Value of A here depend on this one. Okay, let's say this question mentioned about ball bearing. So we can put the value of 3 here on the A. Okay, C already you know this one. C you already know value of C here. This one is from the table 30.7. So don't forget about this one. Okay, the kilonewton here. Okay, this one is kilonewton. But we refer back to the table. This one. Don't forget about this one because they mentioned at 30.7. Here this in term of the kilonewton. Kalau kamu tak letak kilonewton ni, kamu letak 30.7 ni, so your punya result nanti akan dapat salah lah. This one. Kamu akan dapat pelik nanti sikit. Okay, lepas tu kamu dapatkan kuasa yang 3 ni because of this one is ball bearing. So you can put a 3 here. So the value of P here. So P you put here. So P where you get from here. Okay, the value of P here. Okay, then you follow just this one, 10 power of 6, then 60, and then this one is our RPM. So they already given to you is 100 RPM. So our bearing is working on the 800 RPM punya rotation. So from there you get the value here. Okay, finally you get the value of L10 is mean of 140. Lebih kurang macam ni lah. Okay, dia punya value dia in term of hours, because we apply this formula, they ask you to find the value here, but you apply formula in term of hours. So make sure you put here as a hours, not a revolution. Okay, please make sure this one. So if you ask you to find the hours, so they have this one, RPM, they must be given to you lah, this value of RPM. Okay, L10 ada siapa-siapa nak tanya dulu ke sebelum kita proceed lagi soalan? Okay, kalau tak ada saya proceed lain. Okay, and then the second question they ask you to find the value. Okay, to find the value of the 95%. Bagaimana this one? 95% of reliability, this one. For the 95% of the reliability. So that's mean kalau ikutkan this one, that's mean the 95% yang okay. So before this they ask around the 90%, okay, for the L10. So now we go for the another one to L5. We can directly apply the formula for the L5 here. Okay, L5. This means the KR here we need to find here value of KR. This one is L10 you get from the above tadi, soalan daripada tadi. Okay, you need to find the value of the KR here. So basically you can apply this formula if they ask you to find the value this one L5. Mean the 95% of the reliability. So we can find the value of 90% of the reliability from the question. You put here and then you can find here. So this one maybe around 0.6 something lah, 0.62. So we put here 0.62 and get the value of KR, and then you multiply and then you can get this value. So please look at this value. Okay, so let's say your 90%, you get this value 90%, and then you increase to the 95%. That means they have some reduction here. So maksudnya lagi tinggi tu akan menyebabkan dia punya masa tu makin kurang. This one 5. Dia punya logik dia macam tu. So bila kita select tu, maksudnya kita select the bearing tu, kebarangkalian yang dapatnya adalah dalam bentuk yang macam ni lah. Kalau lagi banyak kita ambil macam ni. Okay, ingat kalau dia ask you to for the L5, you just directly apply this formula only. This formula. How to get the value of KR? So this one. So this one CP. COP. In terms of hours. Tak apalah, yang tu sekejap mungkin ada sikit. Nanti saya semak balik lah bahagian sini. So because this one L10, okay, betul-betul bukan formula ni lah, bukan formula ni, it's not this formula, sorry. So not apply this formula, bukan this formula, bukan formula yang ini. Kalau untuk yang tadi tu bukan. So kita ada formula yang ini. Kalau untuk 95%, dia set about reliability, you go for the ni, pergi ke bahagian yang table untuk KR punya figure, find the value of 95%, 0.62, and then you multiply with the L10. Ini lah 95% ni dia set about 5 sebab dia not L10. But this one in term still in term of hours lah. Got L5 here, you get the value of L10 here in term of hours. In term of hours. So here in term of hours, so your value of for the L5 also in term of hours. This one. So you can see a reduction of hours ni bila dia punya reliability dia meningkat 95%. So before this is 90, you get this value, and after the 95 you get the reduction for the hours. So saya ulang balik bearing ni semua tak sama dia punya apa ni lifetime dia ni. Maksudnya kita hanya select berdasarkan statistik. Macam tadilah 95%, 90% macam tu je. So lagi tinggi tu maksudnya dia akan lagi rendah lah hours dia. Okay, so we can go for another question, exercise number 2. Ini panjang sikit lah bahagian sini, exercise number 2. So as usual before we start, so please baca betul-betul lah soalan tu. So this one they mention 50 mm bore, okay, they mention ni for deep groove ball bearing, okay. We know that we can go for the table 3.1. This one on the section for the deep groove, focus on the 50 mm, then we can get the value of C. Okay, this one, okay, clear this one, and then carries a combined load 9 kN radically, okay, dia ada 2. Ni kalau dia ada 2 ni berat sikit lah ni 6 kN and axially 6 kN axial, and then they have the 90 kN radial. So load tu dia ada 2 lah. So when you need to find the value of P tu, you must be apply this formula lah, okay, because of they have a radial and also the axial, so you need to apply this formula, okay, this type of formula, this one, because they have a axial and also the radial here. So dia susah escape kat sini, pada ni you need to find the value of y and also x lah, this one. So kita tak boleh pakai ni, okay, sebab dia yang ini dimension lah, have a aerial load, this one also have a radial load, they already mentioned in the question. They have a radial and also the axial at the RPM, so they already mentioned the n here. So kamu tahulah dia akan apply untuk hours lah, getting life to vary in term of hours. So they ask you to find the value of the equivalent radial load, okay, the value of the equivalent radial load. So this one in term of P lah, okay, basically. So they also mention they have some star here, deep groove ball bearing, inner rotate and steady motion. So you know the value of inner rotate related to V, steady motion this one for the KS. Say for this one for the KS and then for the V. So let's say you go for the tables there. So let's say for the V inner rotate, so go for the V inner rotate, we get the value of as a 1.0. So this one is 1.0, and then steady motion, we go for the list of formula for the table 3.5, then we can get the value for the this one steady, this one steady motion, then is equal to 1 lah, okay, this one, so equal to the 1. So please baca ni baik-baik dan tengok lah this one. So they have axial load and so the radial load, and then RPM 200, and then so diameter, you can go for the 3.1 section table, and then you can get the value of C. Okay, so we need to start to find the value of P first. Start the equivalent radial load, rating life L10, L5, then loading of ball bearing. If this one they have some changes, then we need for the question number 4 here, they have some changes on the load or the time life rating tu, lifetime tu, then we need to apply this formula. Okay, this formula. Yang untuk question number 4 tu, this formula. Nanti kita akan tengok lah bahagian sini. So ni pun sama lah, A ni ikutlah dia punya apa ball bearing, so we apply as A. Yang ni yang mana yang perubahan dia tu kita akan tengok lah. P2 ni selalunya pada prime ni bahagian sini, dan L10 dan juga P ni bahagian sini. Kita akan tengok nanti P dia. Kita tak perlu nak start P cari daripada asal daripada sini, tak perlu dah. So we just have a we call as a comparison this one. Then as long as we have all this data, unless ada one unknown lah, this one we can get the value. Okay, we can go for the soalan dia punya ni. Okay, exercise number 2. So we start to find the value of P first. So here the value of okay, start the value of P here. So this one, the value of P, you know the value of KS. V also you know is equal to 1, equal to 1. So based on the equation given to you, so you know the value of A, you know the value of R. So they also mentioned this one, in a rotate for the V is equal to 1, steady condition 3. For table 3.5, KS is equal to 1. This one. Ini clear siapa yang tak faham ni boleh beritahu dulu sebelum kita proceed jauh lagi. So you get the value for the KS or the V here, V and KS here based on the equation given. So this one in a rotate, V is equal to 1, steady condition. For the table 3.5, KS they give as a 1. Okay. So then we start one by one to get the value of this condition. X and also Y here. So I mentioned here we go for the table 3.3. Okay, we go for the table 3.3. So we have a table on the 3.3. So okay, this one table 3.3. So this one they have mentioned deep groove, deep groove ball bearing. They already mentioned in the question, deep groove ball bearing. This one, another is the angular contact. This one ball bearing, ini double ball bearing ni, ni lain sikit lah ni, tak ada angular ball bearing. Okay, tak apa, kita fokus yang ni je, 3.3 here to get the value of X and Y. So we cannot easily find, okay, this one based on this. Okay, we try to find first try to find this one FA over CS. Then we also need to find the value of the FA over VFR. Okay, we find this one first. Okay, so we start to calculate the value of FA, okay, over VFR. So FA you know is axial, FR is radial, V is 1. So you get the value here, FA over VFR is equal to 0.667 here. You get the value here 0.667, yeah, 0.667. This value ni, this one based on this, kita akan tengok lah pada ni, bahagian sini, bahagian sini. Ini yang kita akan tentukan, first step kita akan tentukan kat mana kita akan ambil. Ini yang kita kira tadi, sama ada our condition tu adalah less than equivalent or more than equivalent. Kita akan compare nanti. Okay, tengok ni yang bahagian sini kita kira tadi. Then we go for here, then we need to find the value of value of E. Then to find the value of E, then we apply to this one, okay, FA over CS. FA over CS, you know FA, okay, this one 6,000, and then you divide by ni 19.6 ni. So how you can get the value of CS ni based on this one, okay. Then we have a diameter of 50 mm. So we go for the table 3.1. Okay, mention the ball bearing, mention the ball here, deep groove, this section, deep groove, 50 mm, and then deep groove. You can find the value of the C, S, and also C here. C dan juga CS. So for this formula, to find E, we need to apply the FA over CS. Okay, this is a radial, and then CS ni, this one you can get from the table tu. Then we get the value of CS 90.6 and 35.1 for C. Okay, this one you can get the value, and then you put the value this one here. So don't forget about the point K here, kilonewton, this one K here. So you can get the value of FA over CS on this 0.306. Then we can go for the table. Okay, we go for the this section. Okay, we can see mana bahagian tadi tu. Bahagian formula tu, kita punya formula ni berapa? Kita punya value dia, FA over CS. Yang we already calculate here, FA over CS is around 0.306. 0.306, 0.306, so they are already on this section. Okay, we focus on this area only. So they are the middle. So as I mentioned before yesterday, so we cannot easily take the highest one. Tengok, tak boleh. For the bearing punya condition, we cannot apply this condition. Just we need to have the interpolation here. So that means our value is 0.306 here. Okay, that means is 0.306 on this area. So we need to find the value E here before we can compare with this condition. Okay, kita akan tengok section yang mana kita akan pilih nanti. Okay, then we need to find the value of E here. Okay, the value of E here by interpolation. Saya dah mention semalam. So need to find the value of E. So yang ni formula ni boleh tulis this one. So you know the value of FA CS ni based on the table. This one based on this condition 0.28, 0.31 ni kita dah dapat, kita kira. And then ni 0.42 ni from the table lah, dua ni S1 and X2 ni from the table. Ini yang kita dah kira ni lah tadi. So we marking ada yang paling atas tu S1, this one as the X2. Then this one for the E sama juga, kita masukkan balik je 0.38. This one also we call as the in term of Y1, this one is Y2 0.42 here. Kita dapatkan daripada mana bahagian ni? Dapat daripada sini, because we want to do this in interpolation. Bahagian sini saya mention semula bahagian sini. Kita nak dapatkan value yang bahagian sini. Kat sini berapa value ni? Kat sini. Okay, we do. Then bahagian sini, inilah ada E kita nak cari tu. So make sure yang bahagian ni S1, Y1, X2, Y2. So yang bahagian yang kita nak cari ni we call as a X and as a Y. So apply this formula. Okay, this formula. Okay, ni boleh salin lah bahagian sini Kena sebelum tu kena buat table bentuk macam ni supaya kamu lebih mudah lah nak faham. Okay, we need to find the value of Y here, ataupun value of E by Y1. Okay, this Y1, okay, plus X1, this one ni plus dulu. So this one is one section. Okay, X, this value of X minus X1, minus of X1 here 0.2. Okay, itu multiply with Y2 bahagian sini, Y2 minus Y1. Then you can get divide with the X2 here, X2 minus dengan X1. Ni kalau kamu belajar matematik, kamu ingat balik lah ni. We call as interpolation punya. So nanti kita akan dapat the value lah. The value of E here. So the value of E when you calculate this one, boleh kat kamu kira, can get the value of 0.39 here. And you get the value of 0.39 here. So here you know the value of E here is 0.39. Okay, then we need to compare with our this one. Okay, this one VFA over VFR ni. Okay, lepas tu kita tengok. Okay, lepas tu kita compare kan keadaan kita. Ini kita dapat apa tadi? Kita punya condition adalah yang mana? Kita punya yang ini kita kira tadi adalah 0.667 FA over VFR 0.667. Yang E kita kira tadi dapat 0.39. So maksudnya kat sini our condition is on the table. Kalau kita refer balik pada table, okay, our condition bahagian yang mana? Bahagian sini kan? Okay, so our condition tu, okay, our punya condition tu adalah yang mana? Di sini. Bila kita dapat calculation tu bahagian sini, condition kita yang mana FA adalah lebih daripada E yang kita dah kira lah ni semua. Ini kita kira, yang ni kita dapatkan daripada table by interpolation. So daripada situ kita akan ambil column number 2 here. Column here, okay? Column here. I already mentioned before, the value of x here is similar. This one 0.56 semua sama. Ni pun sama juga. Kalau y kosong ni semua kosong lah. Ni pun sama juga ni value of 1. Okay? Ni adalah condition dia dah tetap kan, factors ni factors. Dia adalah lebih daripada e. Equivalent this one, the value of e ni dah kamu akan pilih bahagian sini. Okay. So saya mention balik bahagian sini yang tadi. Okay, so kita akan pilih bahagian sini lah. So ini pun kita kena buat interpolation lagi, nak cari the value of bahagian sini. Sebab kita dah pilih ya, mula kita pilih section, sama ada section 1 ni ke ataupun section 2. Lalu kita dapat section 2, kenapa? Sebab dia adalah lebih besar daripada E. Yang kita kira FA divide by VFR ni adalah lebih besar daripada E. Ini adalah yang kita kira lah, VFA lebih besar daripada E. Ini mana datangnya? Daripada FA ni pada atas ni tadi. Okay. Pada FA ni bahagian ni 0.667. Ini kamu dapat daripada soalan. V ni pada inner rotate. Dapatkan ni, dapat ni, and then kamu compare lah dengan value of E yang kamu dapat tu. Okay. Kita punya condition adalah macam ni. FA divide by FR, VFR ni adalah lebih besar daripada value of E. So that's why we call it there as a column number 2 here. Okay. Column number 2 also we need to find the value here because we don't know the value of y exactly. We also cannot easily find the value. Okay, 1.04 cannot. This one because the value of FA over CS here we are not dapat exactly on the table, tak ada. Kita ada dalam intermediate, dalam tengah ni. Bahagian tengah sini kita kena cari lah. Okay. Ni pun sama juga, kita kena buat macam tu juga. Okay. Okay, macam tu. Then we know the value of x. Okay. X is similar 0.56 but we don't know the value of y. We cannot easily put the value of y there as 1.04 ke tak, 1.15 tak boleh. Then we need to have the interpolation another one. So this one you must have for your own practice. Okay. So you select sama juga macam ni condition dia, sama juga FA over CS bahagian sini. FA over CS dapat sini 0.31 ni. Sama juga macam tadi, guna this formula. For the formula for the interpolation, guna juga macam ni. Okay, bahagian sini Y. Ni adalah yang kita nak cari lah. Ni adalah kita punya X tu. So buat condition macam ni juga sama. Okay, guna formula this one, then you can get the value of the y pula. You need to find the value of y. So kat sini kamu boleh lah tulis sini apa ni, sini kita letak x1, y1, sini x, ni y. So this one pula x2, ni pula y2. Kamu masukkan formula ni, dapat dah nanti buat interpolation, nanti kamu akan dapat dah value ni 1.13. Okay, 1.13 ni dan sini kita dah pilih lah. Okay, kita get the value of x and also the value of y. X we get 0.56 and then y also we get, after the interpolation we get the 1.13. FA you know, FR you know, KS you know, V also you know, then you put, then you get the value of P here that we call as the equivalent radial load. Okay, we call as the equivalent because bukannya dia punya combined load, bukannya radially. This one bukannya 9 kN ni, bukan. This one equivalent radial load. So you need to find the value of P. Nak dapat P ni nampak macam mudah tapi we need to find this one first, X and also Y. If you are lucky, you get directly from the table. If you get the exact number on the table, it's okay. But if they have some different value, then they are, let's say they in the middle of the sum value, then you must do the interpolation. So for the interpolation, please make sure you know this. Okay, this punya formula. Okay, formula ni kalau saya rasa dah belajar kot matematik this one. Okay, we pass this one, we pass the number 1, then we know the value of P, then rest senang sikit lah. Then we can get the value of rating life or bearing hours. So we said about the hours, so we apply the formula for the hours because they already give to you the value of RPM and value there. So you pass the value of P here, then you can find the value of L10. So L10 here, you know this type of formula. Okay, C over P. A, this one is ball bearing. We put the value of 3. C ni we get from the table bagian atas tadi lah. Okay, table berapa tadi? Because of 50 mm. Okay, 50 mm we get the value of 35.1. Get the value of 35.1 for the C. Okay, and then the P you get from the formula. This one you get yang ni bagian atas yang susah ni. Then you get the ni kamu kira ini 60, ini from the question. This one is your RPM lah, N, value of N. So you get this one value mesti 100,000 lah dapat ni berapa ni? Tak boleh buang macam ni. Then you term this one in term of hours. Okay, formula is not the revolution. Siapa tak faham lagi boleh tanya dulu sebelum kita proceed lagi soalan. Okay, tak ada soalan. So kita will proceed another one. Okay, we complete the question number 2, then we go for the median life of hours. Okay, median life, they have their own formula, then you need to multiply with 5. So this one we call as the median. From your L10 there, you need to multiply with 5. This one your L10, then you multiply with the 5. You can get the value here. Okay, this hours. Di mana median makan dapat lagi tengok ni lah, darab dengan 5, dan dia ada formula je lah ni, just kita direct apply je, tak apa, ni tak ada masalah. Direct apply the 5 darab dengan L10, we get the value of the median. This one. Okay, this one they ask for the median life in hours. Okay, ada tak dalam formula ni, saya boleh tunjuk sikit. Memang tak ada lah. So we apply after 5. Kalau we talk about the median tu, we multiply with 5 lah. So the reason ni nanti saya beritahu lah. Saya pun tak ingat this one kenapa. Okay, to 5 here. Then nombor 4 ni kita akan apply formula yang I said before, this one. Okay, we apply this formula yang lain ni panjang. Okay, this one. Okay, so this one bahagian sini kita akan apply this formula. So let's say lah condition tu dia bagi, okay, ni kita dapat ni condition lama L prime 10 dan juga P1, ni condition lama. Okay, condition lama. P1 ni we get from the formula tu lah, ada X, Y, V, K, S tu, okay, FR, FA tu ni pun from P. So this one we already calculate, and then this one you already know. So this one normally they give to you, okay, then we need to find the value of P2 ataupun they give you new load, then you need to estimate how long they will sustain. Okay, the new the punya rating life. Okay, this one. Nanti kita akan bagi nisbah lah. Yang A ni tak ada apalah, sama ada ball ke ataupun apa ni, roller ke, tak akan tengok tu lah. 3 sama ada value 3 ataupun 10 per 3 ataupun 10 per 3. Macam tu lah, 10 per 3. Okay, based on this condition. So kita tengok soalan dia macam mana, kita jawab. Okay, they give to you the question. Sorry, okay, padam sikit.
Tak ada, sir.
Sorry, saya. Okay, kita pergi kepada question number 4 ni, this one, the loading of ball bearing is the expected life to increase by 25%. So their meaning here, so they have increased from the 100 plus with 25. This one, dia masuknya lah bahagian sini. So they increase by 25%. Okay, kita kena masukkan sekali 100 plus 25 ni. We apply this formula. Okay, kena ingat from the formula tu P1 dan juga L10 prime ni adalah yang bahagian yang lama punya, old one. Then we have a P2 dan L prime, L double prime is for the new. Okay, this for the L10 prime is we said the 100% this one. Then they try to increase this one from the 100% to the 125% because they mention about the 125 because they are increased in term of the 25%. So we must have plus this one 125 so you can get the value of 1.25 here. Okay, this one kena 1.25 bukan 25 je, tak boleh, because dia must have dia punya ratio here. Kalau kamu letak 0.25 je ni dah wrong lah. They must be above this one because the L prime ni, L10 prime ni is we assume as the 1 because this 100% and they have increased as 0.25 or we can call as a 25%. So you must put as the 1.25 here. So I mentioned again, this one is old, L prime is old, this one is old, then this one is new. Okay, this one is old, this one is new. So this one we call as 100%, this one is 100 plus 0.2, 100 plus 25%. Get this one 1.25. So this one we get the P2 and P1. So P1, this one basically from the our calculate this one from the old, and we need to find the value of P here, P2 here. So you have to pastikan ni betul lah. Kamu ni ball bearing is 3 for the A, then kamu buat square, kamu buat ni punca kuasa 3, kamu readjust ni, and then you can get the value here first. So P1 ni adalah from the our punya ni tadi 11.82 ni. Dia dah 11.82. This one multiply 0.93 multiply with P1 11.8. This one is old the old one. So old one ni we get from bahagian atas tadi. Tadi ni. Yang paling atas ni 11.82. Because dekat dia ada adjustment the percent dia punya rating life tu. And then kalau kita nak increase kan, then we get the value of the 11.4. So before this one, or for the P1, we get the value of 11. P1 we get the 11.82 kilonewton. But for the P2, the new one, 11.4 kilonewton. So they mention dia kalau kita nak increase the rating life ni, maksudnya kita nak lamakan dia punya bearing punya life ni, we must reduce, okay, the load for the new one to 11.4 compared to before 11.82. So kalau kita kurangkan beban, maksudnya bearing kita boleh sustain lama sikit lah, okay, based on this calculation, okay, based on the calculation they must have proof lah this one. So we select this one. Let's say that we want to make sure that our bearing can sustain more, it's okay, we can do, but we must reduce the load here, okay, we must reduce. This one is old, this one is for the new. Okay. Okay, ada soalan ke ni? Ada tak? Nak tanya ke?
Tak ada, sir.
Okay. Okay, macam ni lah. Panjang sikit lah jalan kerja dia ni. So saya rasa 247 ni saya, kalau exercise 3 ni lagi panjang lagi ni. Nanti kita akan discuss lagi exercise 3 ni untuk next week punya. So kalau untuk soalan ni minta kamu jawab sendirilah ni, this one. Minta kamu buat ikut apa yang saya dah ajar tadi, tak ada perubahan, kamu buat je lah. This one. Yeah. Start from the equivalent radial load, okay. Saya mention balik ni radial load. Sekali lah sebelum tutup kelas. So they have 4 question given to you. So overall they must be start from the P lah, equivalent of the radial load. We need to find the value of P. So if they are given to you, the radial and axial tu susah sikit lah, because we need to apply the value of the X and also the value of the Y, okay, under our punya formula. Because if you get the value of X and Y tu, because normally we need to have the, normally we cannot get the exact value on the table, we must do the interpolation. So for the interpolation tu, kamu mesti tahulah macam mana kamu nak dapatkan. Okay, please apply the formula for the interpolation, and then please refer to condition of the FA over VFR tu. Saya repeat sekali lagi secara mudahnya. So ini dia nak minta kamu cari the value of P tu So selalunya kalau dia bagi FR dan juga FA ni, nak dapatkan value of P ni, kamu kena cari the value of X dan juga Y ni. Okay, the value of V dan juga KS ni kamu dah tahu dah daripada soalan ni, lebih tahu dah. Steady state condition is KS, inner rotate is basically for V, Kamu dah tahulah ni boleh refer. So, tapi nak dapatkan value of X dengan Y tu kita kena refer pada table, kita tak boleh nak dapatkan terus. Okay. Dia start dengan FA divide by VFR ni. Ini adalah condition pertama yang kita akan gunakan. Sebab nanti kita akan compare, okay, kita akan tengok pada formula tu. Okay, formula yang bahagian yang awal ni. Formula for table 3.3 bahagian sini. Okay, kita akan tengok pada formula ni. Formula dia pada awal ni dia akan tentukan mana section mana yang kamu nak pilih. Section 1 ke section 2. So section 1 ke section 2 ni ada syarat dia. FA VFR must less than E. Kamu kena kira dulu value of FA ni dan juga ni lah FA over VFR dulu. Kamu dah kira dapatlah value dia. Dan lepas tu daripada situ kamu pula kena cari find the value of E berdasarkan FA over CS. FA over CS ni adalah daripada sinilah. So CS ni kamu dapat daripada mana? Daripada table 3.1 ni lah. 3.1 tu because dia dah mention dah 50 mm ball bearing deep groove. So kamu boleh cari lah dia punya CS dia punya C dia berapa dah. Okay. Okay, kamu dapatkan value dia ni, jadikanlah lepas tu dapatlah value dia berapa. Then kamu pergi tak bahagian table tu, bahagian mana? Section kamu dapat FA over CS tu bahagian sini. So jadi kamu kena buat interpolation untuk dapatkan the value of E dulu. Boleh guna bahagian formula ni, kena tulislah ni. Kena buat table macam ni lagi senang supaya kamu tak buat silap. Dan kamu akan dapatlah the value of E tu berapa. Okay, dapat value of E tu, dapat value of E, kamu kena buat comparison. Okay, banyak ke kurang? Ni value of E, ni value of F ni. Okay, tengok ni F ni adalah lebih daripada E. Kalau lebih daripada E, section mana yang kita akan pilih? Section bahagian sini, section 2. So kita fokus pada bahagian sini je lah. So kita tahu dah value of X dia berapa, 0.56 untuk semua ni. Tapi value of Y dia kita kena tengok lah. Tengok bahagian sini, kita kena buat interpolation lagi. Interpolation terhadap FD dan juga pada Y. Kat sini lah kita kena buat interpolation lagi. Lepas tu barulah kita dapatkan value dia. 0.5 nak 0.56 dapat. Lepas tu buat interpolation lagi, kita dapatkan Y pula. Okay, dah dapat Y pula, masukkanlah dalam rumus. Okay, dapat rumus, dapatlah value of P. Lepas tu dapat value of P, baru boleh cari L10. Sebab dalam L10 ni ada P. Sini kamu dapat daripada table 3.1, 50 mm, deep groove. Okay, ni ball bearing, tak ada masalah. Ni RPM, kamu boleh dapat lah. This one tak ada masalah. Lepas tu kalau dia cakap median, you must multiply L10 with the 5. Itu je. Reason tu saya beritahu lah nanti siapa. So dan juga formula, contohlah dia ada increase, dia nak want to adjust lifetime ke into 25% ke, ataupun nak adjust the load ke, kamu boleh apply this type of formula. Ini pun ada, ikut dia punya A ni ball bearing ke, cylindrical ke, depend pada. Yang paling penting adalah bahagian sini. L double prime ni adalah, kalau dia apply this one, contoh let's say dia minus 25%, kamu kena rebuat reduction lah. This one must be have this one 1% for the original one. Ini bahagian dia itulah yang the new one punya. Dan darab pula dengan bahagian yang P1 ni adalah old load lah. Then we can get the value of P tu yang new one punya. Kita akan ada comparison. Kenapa kita tak perlu start daripada awal lah, find X, Y itu apa semua tak perlu. We just directly use this formula. Okay, saya harap yang tu okay lah, clear this one. Then exercise 2, exercise 1 ni dah complete. So exercise 3, so next week we will cover lah this one. So exercise 2 tu kamu boleh buat lah, nanti minggu depan saya minta lah siapa-siapa ke. Okay, so ada soalan ni siapa-siapa sebelum kita tutup kelas?
Tak ada, Ustaz.
Okay, tak ada. Kalau tak ada, kita boleh tangguh dulu kelas. Kita jumpa lagi untuk next week. So boleh cubalah buat exercise tu. Saya mention sekali lagi, kalau untuk subjek ni pastikan kamu have a lot of practice lah. So kita bukan subjek membaca, mengingat bukan. So you must have your own practice. Tekan kalkulator macam mana, cara mengira macam tu, kena buat lah. So please have your own practice lah bahagian situ. So terima kasih yang datang kelas. Kita jumpa lagi untuk minggu hadapan. Terima kasih semua.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.